Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, as you just saw, there's no suspension on this thing. Ridiculously tight. And so I'm going to be working today on trying to achieve some functional wheel travel, because I tell you what, if I go hitting the whoop-de-doos out of Glamis the way it is here, I'm going to end up on my lid, and I don't want to do that. So I called O'Reilly and they got some KYB shocks coming, because there are no shocks back here. And then another thing I noticed was that there's about a 1/2 inch space right there. Somebody put a spacer in there, which brought that plate up, which stiffened things. So I'm going to get busy. I'm going to cut that on out of there and see what that does. I might have to turn the torsion a tooth, but it's better to have 4 or 5 inches of good working travel than to have this this stiff thing. So I mean, if I was riding this thing on a road course, that would be fine, nice and stiff and low to the ground. But we're going to be out there in the dunes, and we need a travel or a suspension that works. I don't know why this is so stiff. I go out here to Rally Bug, stock suspension on this thing, and it functions. But this one here, this is awfully stiff. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do with the front is I'm going to cut this on down, allow those arms to drop a little bit more. I doubt that I'm going to have to go limiting straps or anything like that, because you know, eventually the torsion will stop the rotation. So anyways, I'm going to get busy, see what I can do about yeah, this thing's ripping, but you got to have a suspension that works. So I'm gonna get busy on that real quick. So I got this suspension pressed down a little bit. You can see you wrap a chain around the floor jack and around the chassis, and you can go ahead and get the suspension out of the way. Now it looks like somebody did a little custom fabrication there and put an extra 1/2 inch there to block it, so block it from going down all the way. Now one issue is that by allowing the suspension to drop down all the way, sometimes you put a little wear on the boot there, up against that you know, the horn there that supports the transmission. So I'm hoping that doesn't cause a problem there, because you can end up smashing that, and then you end up leaking all your gear oil out and burning up a tranny. You don't want to do that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Make sure that this plate was tight. This was bent around that. If I take that out, there could be a little bit of play in there, so I'm going to end up straightening that out. But let's get that out of there, drop the suspension down, and let's see if it softens it up a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and put the shocks on later today. They're supposed to be in about noon, which is just a couple hours away. We'll see if we can't get this rear suspension working. So, and then I got to work on the front, because that's awfully stiff. Now that's frankly over the whoop-de-doos. That's not as important, because that'll skim over the top of them, because when I'm on the gas of this, it's going to be a light front end. But the rear end's got to be working, or else it's going to catapult me onto my lid, and I don't want to do that. So let's get this cut out. I'll get my little 4-inch grinder out here with a blade, and we'll cut that off real quick. Yeah, it was kind of a chore, but we got it done. And we got quite a bit more drop to the suspension there. It doesn't look like that'll fall off of there. That's another issue. This strap will keep it from dropping all the way off the stopper there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the other side. We'll mount these tires back on here and see how that works. Let's get this done and go get some shocks. All right, guys, let's see how this thing works. Actually, a suspension. Actually working now. So, all right, Bobby, what have you been working on?
I just put standoffs on the hood of the Beetle over here, old Black Betty.
Old Black Betty. Now the air cleaner fits.
Yep.
And scoop some air down to it.
Yep.
High performance motors need to breathe.
Yeah, just basically put this standoff in right here. Brings the hood out.
Oh yeah. That's just fine. We got to get, where's that spring at? We got to get that spring on there, or it probably won't even work now.
It doesn't work.
Nah, okay.
So got to carry something to keep the hood open.
Yeah. I think on one of my projects I made a little rod that folds down there. You can lock up, fold it down, part of the hood. That might have been on Rally Bug before I cut the hole in it. I'm not sure. One of my VW projects, I put a little pull in there to hold it open.
Yep. Figure something out.
Yeah. Anyways, very cool. Now I got to deal with the front end of this thing, and like I said, I'm just going to take my saws off, cut those off, and if those torsions are extra tight, it'll draw it down and give me more suspension travel that way. Let me pull these shocks off, see if they're not seized up. I don't know, but this is stiff. This is barely works. Like I said, the front end kind of just glides over the bumps, and the rear end's very important because that'll catapult you if it's not working. But I'm gonna see what I can do with the front real quick, and by then it'll be time to go pick up the shocks, and we'll see how it really works. All right. Oh, another issue. These boots, I did get more of an angle on there and they started leaking. So I've always figured to put this to the side so it doesn't work on that joint so much, but I've actually seen people rotate them so they're straight up and down, because I think these are leaking. That joint there is leaking a little bit, and it's making a mess on both sides after I drop that down. So that's another thing I'm gonna have to deal with, but for now I want to get this suspension working. We'll see what I can do with the front. I'm just gonna cut those damn things off the front there and see how that works. All right, we'll see. yeah, that sure that gives it a little bit more travel there. Hopefully that'll work better. Maybe put a little grease in there will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to work a lot better. All right, I'm just waiting to hear about the shocks, and any of you guys that have ever dealt with these boots before, you put the seam up, because now I'm making a mess on both sides. I've gotten them damn pipe clamps as tight as I can without stripping them. So I'm gonna try tightening up all these little bolts there, see if that makes a difference. But yeah, solving one issue created another. Anyways, I'm gonna get to work on that, and I am expecting a phone call like momentarily to go get some shocks. We can put some shocks on the back of this thing. So I will return. All right, guys, well, that's it for today. Check this out. Got some KYB shocks on there. We took out the little spacer someone had put underneath these, I guess they're called spring plates, torsion plates. We took the stops off of these front arms here and lubed everything up here, so the front end's actually working. And I believe Monday my son is gonna finish up all the wiring on this thing. He does a real beautiful job with the wiring, as you guys saw with Rally Bug. We're gonna get all these lights working and everything, and so this thing is gonna be ready to actually take out and do some ripping, and I plan on doing that next weekend. We got this this place up the road here where everyone takes their vehicles. It's called Willow Springs. It's a ranch, but they let us drive down the dirt roads there with no problem. And I want to see how this thing does in the dirt. Now, before we take it to Glamis, we'll need sand tires, of course. And I'll get those before we go. I'm hoping to go later this month, maybe Thanksgiving weekend, head on out to Glamis and see how this thing does on the sand hills. So but before we do that, an extended weekend trip out there, I want to make sure this thing runs good. And so Willow Springs next weekend, we'll do some ripping on the dirt roads, and we'll see how this thing runs. So anyways, that's it for today. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You know, all that algorithm stuff, I don't understand it all. I know how to build things, but in the YouTube world, you gotta, I don't know, understand all that stuff. So anyways, like, share, subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you when Bobby does the wiring Monday. We'll post another video about all that, lights working and everything. It'll be cool. All right, we'll see you later.